Alright, what's happening, y'all, man? It's official. Alex Smith will be released soon. How much money does it save us? Where will that money more than likely go in free agency? And other very interesting pieces of news and stats that we have to get into. So, wasting no time, let's get it. Alright, so John Keim reported that Ian Rappaport reported Washington is expected to release Alex Smith per source, could come later today or tomorrow. I saw other sources saying by the end of this week, so either way, by the end of this week, expect Alex Smith off the books. And as mentioned on John Keim's podcast, Rivera just got back in town, so that's why moves are starting to happen. So now expect a lot of news coming out of the Washington football team. Rivera has been out of town, he just got back, and immediately we hear this Alex Smith news. So we could possibly see some trades before March. We can hear about what players we're going to cut. We can hear about what players we may be targeting in free agency, all very soon. So stay tuned. This week is going to get very interesting. Alex Smith's release will hold $10.8 million worth of dead cap, but will save $13.6 million overall. Which is also crazy because once we release Alex Smith, since Kyle Allen technically hasn't been re-signed yet, he's an exclusive rights free agent. So it's going to be easy to re-sign him. And offer him $800,000, he has to take the $800,000. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. He just has to be tendered. But as of right now, Taylor Heinicke will be the only quarterback on our roster right now. And he's only eating up $2 million worth of cap space. So that's pretty crazy when you really think about it. But also, Alex Smith's $13.6 million that we saved from releasing him will put us at $52 million worth of cap space heading into free agency. And of course, the league-wide cap space is $180.5 million. So that gives us the fourth highest cap space, only behind Jacksonville, the Jets, and New England. So that's great news in itself. We will have the fourth most cap space in the NFL during potentially a free agency that may be the craziest in NFL history with all of the potential cap casualties. The overall NFL cap space went down. So there's going to be a lot of very talented players getting cut that teams originally thought they could afford before the pandemic. Now they won't be able to. And with the cap space potentially starting to go back up the year after this one, a lot of players may take cheaper one-year prove-it deals just so they can go and get their big long-term money in the 2022 free agency. So having the fourth most cap space in the NFL this offseason is the most important time. This is the best time to finally come up off our cap space struggles. Be nice to have that extra $10 million worth of dead cap that Alex Smith is going to leave behind. But hey, fourth most cap space in the NFL is still great for this free agency period. We may be able to get very aggressive. And I know people normally say that, like, you know, Ron Rivera doesn't normally get very aggressive in drafts as far as trading up for quarterbacks, trading up for players in general, or being very aggressive to acquire quarterbacks. But we've seen that he was willing to offer all of that value for Matthew Stafford. We've seen in free agency him offer Amari Cooper wild money that he didn't deserve. And I'm so glad that didn't happen. And I'm just hoping that that news came out to force the Cowboys to play their hand and offer Amari Cooper more money than maybe they were originally willing to sign him for or something like that. I don't know. But either way, it seems like Ron Rivera is willing to do things differently for the Burgundy and Gold that he never did for the Carolina Panthers. And, I mean, with good reason. With the Panthers, he was just a head coach. Here, he's the end-all, be-all. He's the Bill Belichick of the Patriots. He's the Pete Carroll of the Seahawks. He's the Andy Reid of the Chiefs. He has full control. No matter who we bring in, Chris Polian, Martin Mayhew, Marty Herney, all of these guys, Ron Rivera has the final say on everything, especially when it comes to the player personnel side, but even hirings. So it makes sense that now that he finally has full control of a team, he's going to do everything he can to enact his vision and build this team exactly how he wants and do whatever it takes to do that. But speaking of Ron Rivera, also I like the fact that this ending will come with class. There's a lot of speculation around the GQ interview that Alex Smith had, whether like he actually said a lot of that with heinous intentions or anything, or if he was just trolling, if it was like more of like a lawfully tone. We still don't really know, we're just reading it off paper. But either way, the fact that Ron Rivera is ending this with class just shows how much progress we've made from the previous regimes we've just previously gone through, where it was so much chaos. This probably would have lingered further. And it could have possibly have ended ugly with the previous regimes, previous eras that we've dealt with, previous head coaches, front office members, Bruce Allen especially, Dan Snyder in his old ways. And also, as far as class goes, releasing him this early gives Alex Smith the best chance to go somewhere else and potentially become a starting quarterback. Releasing players early, especially before March 17th, before free agency officially starts, that gives Alex Smith a great head start on where he would potentially land. He'll have an extra 16 days to figure it out before free agency even hits and everything starts going crazy. And as far as Alex Smith, man, his win percentage as a starter for the Burgundy and Gold is the 4th best in the franchise's last 50 years. That is wild. I mean, even though I'm not a big fan of his play on the field, at the very least, other than injuries, he brought stability. He brought like a certain confidence and organization to the team that allowed players around him to develop well, because you don't have to worry about the quarterback. The quarterback's straight. He's a leader. He's stable. You already know what you're going to get out of him game to game. And so that allowed other people around him to develop very well. So we got to appreciate him for that. But as far as winning goes, he's behind Ed Rubert, who went 3-0 in 1987. Jay Schroeder, who went 26-8 through the 85 and 87 seasons. Todd Collins, who went 3-1 in the 2007 season. And then you have Alex Smith IV, who went 11-5 over the seasons of 2018 to 2020 with a .688 win percentage. So that's crazy in itself. Again, he wasn't great, but we have to appreciate what he gave us. But at the end of the day, his comeback and everything he did for this organization should be celebrated for forever. And the Comeback Player of the Year award should be named after him. And the one guy that voted against him for winning it should never be able to vote for things again, because it was clearly obvious that it was Alex Smith's award. So much so, like I said, like a lot of us have said, that the award should be named after Alex Smith at this point. But even then, he's 36 years old. He had more interceptions than touchdowns last season. And he's expensive. Without releasing him, he's $25 million against the cap. And I'll definitely take that extra $13.6 million to use in free agency. Without releasing him, he would be the 12th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And he's definitely not giving you 12th best quarterback play on the field. So releasing him just makes all of the sense in the world. And again, he even said something to the extent of he wants a chance to start, and that definitely won't happen here, especially if we end up getting our guy in free agency or the draft. And then plus, I mean, just with his injuries, he already had that amazing comeback. Then he started to get hurt again and was virtually unplayable against the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So it's just like, it's the end of the road for him at the very least here. Hope he goes somewhere and is successful for another team. But as far as the Burgundy and Gold goes, it's not going to happen here. Now, we can discuss replacements as far as like trading up in the draft for Lance Fields Wilson or Marcus Mariota, Cam Newton, or one of these other guys in free agency. Maybe potentially a trade for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, which I highly doubt happens. I'm assuming trading for Wilson or Deshaun Watson are just extremely unlikely. But you never know how we're going to solve this QB situation. But just know that we're going to start getting a lot of clues as to how we're going to do it, and start hearing some rumors out there now that Ron Rivera is finally back with the team. And again, that $13.6 million we save is monumental in a free agency like this. And you could assume that that money is going to go right to a Curtis Samuel or Corey Davis or whoever. But we'll see. My preference, we could take that money, add a little bit on the top, get a Levante David, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see. And when you look back at it, it's crazy that we traded away Kendall Fuller and a third for Alex Smith. And Alex Smith did everything that he did for this franchise, which was pretty beneficial. Didn't love him as a quarterback, but what he provided this organization, even just off the field, just as far as intangibles goes and things like that. Like I said, leadership and stability. And then the fact that we were able to get Kendall Fuller back in free agency, I feel like that trade worked out very well for both parties. But yeah, man, that's the end of this quick video. Let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about the entire Alex Smith situation. How do y'all feel about how he contributed to the organization? Do you feel like now is the time to release him? What are potential quarterbacks that you want to replace him? With that $13.6 million that you saved, where would you prefer to spend that in free agency? Definitely get in the comment section and let me know all of that. I will be there soon. I'm catching up in the comments. And as always, man, please like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe. If you haven't, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release a video like this one, every time I live stream, every time I release a film session, every time I release one of my 5 mock drafts. Definitely make sure you stay tuned, and I will keep y'all up to date on this Alex Smith situation and, of course, our QB situation overall. And as always, man, I really appreciate everybody that supports the channel in any way. Everybody that pulls up to every live stream, every video, leaves a like, and all of that. Supports the channel, spreads the channel, puts people onto the channel, bring more people to the channel. And of course, I appreciate all of my sponsors, everybody that donates in general, but especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose names see scrolling on the screen right now. Again, I really appreciate all of y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.